I'm pleased to invite you and welcome you here from Theater Santa Fe Theater Lovers Club and New Mexico School for the Arts.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay! It's going to be a lovely intimate gathering.
Yes. This year we actually got to be in the facility. I think over COVID we did one with New Mexico for the Arts, and Barbara took us around.
I carried my computer around.
That's right. I saw that one.
You did see that one, good.
I was live on that
Showed us the dance halls, and she showed us everything. But this time, it's great to get to be here in person. So one of the things I did want to let you know is that I have known Barbara since 2010, when she first moved to San Diego.
Can't hear you.
So we've been together for kind of a long time, known each other a long time. And I just want to say, when she first started out, it was with Mora Du Studi, and we were doing a series of one-acts. So from there to here, she has come a very long way, and we know her as an accomplished artist, a director, an actor, someone who has actually led and supported the developing field of theater arts here in Santa Fe. And she has been a leader across almost all of the different boards that we have. So I really do want to I'm very enthusiastic about having Barb here in the school here and seeing what's happened in Santa Fe for all of us. You know, it's been an amazing journey to see. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to let Barb explain the programs that are going on here, and then we are going to have a little treat. We're going to actually have some teamwork from some actors. So, yeah, from the school.
Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
Thank you all so much for coming out tonight and small, intimate gathering here. Yeah, so as Deb said, I moved here in sort of mid-year 2010, and from the East Coast, where I was a high school theater teacher in Pennington, New Jersey, Hopewell Township. And I was one theater teacher with about 100 students, and I was prepping 4 grade levels every day, teaching 7 classes, had a lunch break, and then would go and direct a show every, the 3-4 major shows, plus a bunch of showcases and taking them to all of these different competitions all over the state of New Jersey. And it was exhausting, and it was very exhilarating, and I'm still in contact with a lot of my students from back there. But when I moved to New Mexico, I was looking to see how I could get into this school. Because it had just started. The fall of 2010 was the first year that NMSA was in existence. And I'd heard about it before I moved here. And I said, I must teach there. This is where my heart, my soul belongs. And there was no opening. There was no possibility of me being hired. I met Joey Chavez, and I'm like, hi, I'm here. I want to teach. Can you hire me? And he's like, I'm sorry, we have no positions open. So what I did was I just, I stage managed, and I substitute taught at different schools around the city. And hi, welcome. Come on in. And I, let's see, I painted sets, and I house managed, and I did everything that I could to get to know everybody in town and just sort of get a sense of how theater in Santa Fe works and worked. And it was very interesting because there were some really, really amazing companies, and then there were a lot of people who just wanted to do theater. And there was this school. And the school to me was always a beacon for me because in my heart, I am a director, I'm an actor, but I'm also a teacher. And you'll see a couple of my students in a moment. And then I met Charles Gamble through Theater Grotesco because I was the managing director of Theater Grotesco, if you've heard of them, for about 5 years. And I met John Flaxon and worked with him. And Charles Gamble one day said, oh, hey, Barbara, I'm going to be out for 2 weeks. Can you come into a master class and teach some? And I'm like, yes! Foot, door, in! And I did a 2-week master class in our old school before I even started teaching here on Commedia dell'arte. And I was like, yes, this is, okay, good. They know me now. And then, crickets. And then a few months later, oh, hey, Barbara, I'm going to be out for a few days. Can you sub for me? And I'm like, yes, okay, again. And then, so as time went on, I worked at the Playhouse, and I met Benny Benedetti, and I was working with New Mexico Actors Lab. I was one of the founding board members of Theater Santa Fe with Janet Davidson and Jim Patterson. And little by little, I started to just kind of feel how theater was working in Santa Fe, getting to know everybody, and discovered really quickly that the best way to work in this town is not to try to change everything immediately, because there's a lot of resistance to change, but to sort of just to find a way into what is an amazing theatrical community with a lot of amazing players. And then there was an opening at an MSA, and I applied, and I actually was in Australia at the time, and it was 4 a.m. in Australia, and it was something like 4 p.m. here, and I had an interview, and I didn't get the job. But then 4 months later, another position opened, and that time I got the job. So we became a team of 4. Yes. And I was in this February marks the beginning of my 8th year. I've been here. I will have been here 7 years at this school, which is kind of remarkable when you think about it. It's like, what? How did that happen? And I worked with Charles and John and Kate Chavez and Joey Chavez and so on and so forth. And now today I stand before you as the chair of the theater department. And as one of the teachers I am now the oldest, the longest lasting theater teacher. Can't really do that. And I have a brand new team of 3 extraordinary young artists. The newest one is literally fresh out of a master's program, an MFA program in Solo, Florida. And his name is Garrick Sigel, and he and I co-directed, our fall production of All in the Timing by David Ives. We did 8 short plays by David Ives, one of which you'll see tonight. And Garrick directed this one, so you'll see Esperanza and Merrick in a moment. And so we have Shayla Patton, Garrick Sigel, and Elizabeth Blanco. So we have a really wonderful team. It's really exciting to have a team that's really cohesive, where we collaborate beautifully together, we complement each other. Oh, you look so nice. We complement each other. In our trainings, we have varied trainings, so we bring a lot of knowledge. And then we also bring in a lot of outside master teachers into the school. So let me give you a broad overview of NMSA and how it works. Our mission. We have a mission. New Mexico School for the Arts provides access to a rigorous mastery arts and academic high school education for youth with passion and aptitude in the arts, leading to post-secondary learning, careers in the arts, and lives that contribute to society. That is our mission statement. And we live that deeply every single day in every single department in the school. We are a public high school. We are free. Please tell your friends. It's free. We don't charge admission. We don't charge anything. It is a free public high school. Every student graduates from here. We have a 98% graduation rate, which is remarkable in the state of New Mexico. Yeah. We also have a 100% of our students who apply to to a higher education, to college, or to any kind of training beyond beyond high school. 100% acceptance rate. Wow. And they get That's over remarkable. $7 million. And I'm talking about 50 kids. 50 to 60 graduates each year get over $7 million worth of aid to go to college, which is, again, really remarkable. And it speaks to the quality of the education that they get here, the quality of the training they get here. And we consider this a training program in our 5 majors. So we have theater, of course, that's me, dance, music, both instrumental and vocal, visual arts, and creative writing. That's our most recent major that has been added to our roster. Up until 4 years ago, you could have a minor in creative writing, major in dance, and be a minor in creative writing. But then we created an entire department just for creative writers. extremely successful, extremely amazing writers. And this is going to be our first graduating class with 4 years having done creative writing as their major. So it's pretty exciting. The students take all of their math classes, science classes, foreign language. We've got French, we've got Spanish, history, English, which I sometimes speak, and so forth. So they get a fully rounded. We don't have. We have honors courses, but we don't have AP courses, but they can take those online. We have a lot of connections with IAIA, with the Santa Fe Community College, with UNM, so there are always opportunities for them to take classes outside. They take AP classes through BYU, Brigham Young University, online, so our students are like, they're hungry for knowledge and for more, which is really exciting. So the next big step, which is going to be pretty cool, is we're going to add a 6th major eventually, starting as a minor, just like creative writing did, but cinematic studies. Because where better than New Mexico, where there is so much film, to major in film. So that's a broad overview. Within the department, their training ranges from the fundamentals of theater as a freshman coming in, doesn't matter what level of education or training you've had before, we all start at the fundamentals. So everybody has the same physical and verbal vocabulary. We all can speak the same language, right? And it goes all the way through, they take a scene study and textual analysis class, character development class, theater history, playwriting. They learn how to write a play. The sophomores right now are starting to write their 10-minute plays, which will be directed by the seniors, who are taking a directing class simultaneously. There's some directing notes up there from our directing teacher, Elizabeth. And then the whole company performs in those short plays. They take an acting for camera class, monologue prep, college readiness, how to interview, how to walk into any room, whether you're auditioning for a college program or you're auditioning for a job. Walking into the room and being present, being able to communicate, articulate who you are, and so forth. So those are some of the classes that we teach. We also do a lot of workshops, so they'll do a mask workshop or a viewpoints workshop, or viewpoints, you might not know what that is, but that's all right. I'll tell you about it another time. So that's basically the training. So the students arrive at 9 o'clock in the morning. We are dependent on the train because we have students who come up from Albuquerque on the train. Some of them commute from as far as 45 minutes away. So the school day starts at just a little bit past 9 o'clock. They have their academics from 9 a.m. till about 2 p.m. And then from 2:15 until 5 p.m., they are in their arts major. And it's just about 3 hours of training every day where they're learning all of these different skills and doing productions. Yes?
If they go from here to a performing arts college, will it be redundant?
Some of it is. A lot of them have come back to us and been like, oh, I learned, it's all the same stuff we did. Here's the thing with theatrical training is that you can get the same training from different teachers and absorb it in a different way, right? So one of the best ways to train is repetition, right? Whether you're an athlete or you're an actor, we tend to do the same things over and over again. But then a lot of programs then, as they're growing but a lot of our students have been told, oh, you should be a sophomore in college, not a freshman, because you know all of this stuff. Yes, that's good for us, right? It means we're doing our job, right? We want our students to walk out of here confident, able to present themselves, whether they are auditioning for any kind of a BFA program or a BA program or Juilliard, or it doesn't matter. Or they decide to go into marine biology or become a lawyer or a doctor. It doesn't matter. They have the skills then to be whatever they want to be and wherever they want to be. Yeah? Yes?
So how many students do you take in, and how do they get in?
That's an excellent question. I was just going to get to that. So we have an audition process, which we are refining every year. So this is our 13th year of existence. The school, right now, our student body is about 346 students across the 4 grades and across the 5 departments. And to get into the school, each department holds auditions. And in the past, for the theater department, for instance, we would do the standard. 2 contrasting monologues and then a short interview where we would spend 15 minutes with a student while they're staring at 3 or 4 teachers and the kids are going, ah, and we're like trying to be smiley, and you can tell they're 13 or 14 years old. These guys can attest to this when you talk to them. It's terrifying. And we don't really get to know the student. And there's a possibility of inherent bias in that. Right? If a student comes in, there are students in this state who have access to an acting coach. They have the means to do that, and they get lots of acting training, and they come in and they're really super prepared. And then there are the students who live in a tiny village in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, and they have no access to that. They have no access to the arts at all, but they have a passion. They want to do this. They might not even know what a monologue is. Is it fair to that kid? Or is it fair to the kid who has the opportunity to train before they come here? So to even that playing field a little, to have equity, is very important in the world we live in, to make sure that everybody has an equal chance, whether you have training or not. We now are doing workshops. So instead of a 15-minute short period of time with a student where they maybe walk out saying, oh, I wish I had, and I should have, and I messed up. There's no messing up, because they come in with this, with their instrument. They don't have to prepare anything. They don't have to know anything. We do a 3-hour workshop where we do theater exercises, improvisation exercises, warm-ups, get them to work together, and then that's the first half. And then the second half is a collaboration between 2. We put 2 together, give them a line from something random, open line, and then they create a scene around it based on what we have sort of been teaching them in that first 90 minutes. So we have a chance to spend 3 hours with these kids where we're not putting them on the spot. They're working together. We watch them, how they work together with each other, how they collaborate, how they listen, if they listen, right? So it's so this is the first year we're doing it that way. So it's very exciting, and across the 5 departments we're doing it that way. There's no more, you must prepare a portfolio. For visual arts, maybe a kid has been drawing all their lives, but they don't have a portfolio, and they don't know what that means. So what do? They come in with 3 drawings, and maybe they don't get in, but they have this incredible talent, and this incredible passion, and this incredible aptitude. And instead, it's a drawing workshop for 3 hours with different mediums. So it's pretty cool. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
If I'm talking too much, just
No, it's great. Are there other high schools like this?
in the state of New Mexico?
No, in the country,
yes.
like there are. But
Yeah.
this is
There's Shy Arts in Chicago. There's a school in Austin, Texas. There's one in North Carolina. There are schools like that in New York. The one from Fame. We're not like Fame, sorry. Although there is some dancing in the hall sometimes. But we are unique in the state of New Mexico, and it was a vision of Cindy Montoya, Catherine Oppenheimer, and a few other people to create the school. It was a need in this state, right? And we go out into the communities, not necessarily to recruit students, but to just say, look, this is what's out there. There is art. You can do art, and this is a place for you to be who you are, to discover your passion. Yes. Hi.
So are you going to have a seniors program for us to offer?
Well, let's segue right into the dance. If you're interested in learning how to dance, or to do some dance if you've ever danced, we do have, right in that studio right there, 4 nights a week at this point. There's a flamenco class, there's a conditioning class, and it's free, and it's for anybody, from 6 o'clock to 7:30 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a poster. If you look online at our website, but I can tell you more specifically, I hate this thing. So, hold on. So tonight is Spanish dance. Previous experience is somewhat required. Tomorrow is a contemporary dance. It's for everyone. Wednesday evening, commercial jazz for anyone if you want to do some jazz dancing. And then Friday again, flamenco for everyone. So if you want to learn flamenco or Spanish dance, and it's free. And right here in our studio. They were actually upstairs in the dance studio, and it was very loud. I asked them if they wouldn't mind moving downstairs, so it would be loud over there, but not there. It's funny when people go across, you think, oh, this is great, it's state-of-the-art, oh, and they didn't really do much for sound absorption. So when the dancers are up there and they're dancing and we're in here, the ceiling shakes. It's like, and you think, oh my gosh, it's like there are 300 elephants up there and it's just 10 kids. So anyway, yeah, so basically that's the school in a nutshell. And this is what we do every day, and we are just so fortunate. I am very fortunate to be here. We did a full 3-show season this past fall in this room. We did the Laramie Project. If you remember in 1998, Matthew Shepard was brutally murdered in Laramie, Wyoming, and the Tectonic Theater out of New York City with Moises Kaufman went and interviewed people. So a verbatim play, talking to the townspeople. I get goosebumps when I think about it. And so we did a production of the Laramie Project in here. And then another one of our teachers, Shayla Patton, directed Twilight, Los Angeles, 1992, written by Anna DeVere Smith, about the race riots in Los Angeles of 1992. And then the third piece, which you actually saw, was 8 short plays by David Ives. We needed a little levity, kind of, before Thanksgiving break, we needed a couple of laughs, which was necessary. Looking forward, and this is all on our website, the next production that we have opening on February 2nd is Aristophanes, The Clouds.
Also funny.
Also funny, so a comedy by Aristophanes, and that's going to actually be at the James A. Little Theater at the School for the Deaf. They have been closed to the public for the past 3 years, and we have had a working relationship with them for many, many years. And they have been kind enough to open up. They're in the middle of renovations, and they're like, oh, I don't know, it's not possible. But they were kind enough to open up their stage to us. So we are going to be presenting The Clouds by Aristophanes at the James A. Little Theater February 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's really soon. That will be followed by, in the first weekend of March, so a month later, those short one-act plays written by our sophomores, directed by our seniors, and then acted by the entire company. Except the directors who are directing, they're kind of busy. They can't act and direct at the same time. And so those are being written as we speak, literally. So that's pretty exciting. And then we have ArtSpring. So I don't know if you've been in town and you've heard of ArtSpring. ArtSpring is usually done in May. We've done it historically at the Lensic. Last year, we finally were able to come back in person. We did it on the campus, which was very exciting, but very limiting as far as space. We didn't have a lighting system in the cafeteria. It was all crazy. And so we're going to be doing our ArtSpring instead of in May, which puts so much pressure on the students when they're like in finals and they're ready to graduate and everybody's like, summer, I'm out of here. They have one foot out the door. We're doing it in March, just middle of March. So check our website for ArtSpring as well. We're going to have 2 public performances. One is the gala, which is the high ticket price, $250, includes food and entertainment before, and it's a wonderful evening. It's our big fundraiser, because for the arts side, the arts programming is separate from the public education side. I don't think I explained that to you. So we have to raise funds to pay for the arts programming, okay? Because that's not done through the public education department. So that's our fundraiser that we do every year. It's the entire school. You'll see, I don't know, 150 kids on the stage for that. Pretty cool. So,
Where do you do that?
Sorry?
Where do you do that?
That will also be at the School for the Deaf on the James A. Little Theater. Yeah, the Lensic is a wonderful venue, and it's also very expensive. So we're always looking to cut costs and to figure out ways to do things in a way that, you know, when you have to spend money to make money, but you also don't want to spend your whole dime to make your dime back, right? So, so lots of wonderful things. Another thing we do every year is I take the senior class to Denver for 3 days, and we're doing that in April. And thanks to a wonderful donor who's very close to my heart, most of that trip is paid for. We do a lot of fundraising throughout the year. We take classes at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts with the professional teachers there. We see 2 shows on the stage at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. We'll go to Meow Wolf, we'll maybe go to the ballet, we'll walk around downtown. It's an awesome weekend. So, Merrick, are you excited about going to Denver?
Yep.
Merrick's a senior this year. So I think, unless you have, did I cover everything? Yes, questions?
The status of the dorms and when they'll be finished,
Okay.
and how many kids will be there?
Great. So phase 2 of the construction. So we moved into these buildings in August of 1919. Whew. August of 2019. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. Literally the week we came back from our trip to Denver. And so we were in the buildings 6 months, and then we were all out again. And they were still doing construction on some of the things. The cafeteria was just finished last fall. So everything's in progress. We broke ground on our dormitories this fall. And so if all goes well, those will be opened for this coming school year at the latest by December. And we will have room. Right now we have space. We're up at the Immaculate Heart, up at the Carmelites there, and there's space for 30 dorm students, and we have 27 right now. With this new dormitories, everything brand new, we'll have space for 60, which is fabulous, which means that more students, because we have a limit to how many students from far away we can take, right? And that's been really tough because we've had some really great kids and we don't have the space, right? So we will have that space with a resident director and a resident advisor living there, so it'll be year-round, 7 days a week. So the kids, right now they go home on the weekend. But if you live in Silver City and your parents have to drive 6 hours to get to Santa Fe, 6 hours to get back, and then come back on Sunday, 6 hours. So they're scrambling to find places for their kids to stay on the weekends. Kids can't really go home. So this will be a home base. This is a closed campus. It's very, very safe. Nobody gets in unless we know who they are. The kids are supposed to not sneak out, but you know.
They're kids. Like we never
Just
did.
saying. But it's a closed campus, and it'll be 7 days a week, and a lot of wonderful things coming with that.
Now, does the state pay for these buildings, or?
So we do get funding through the government. So we're about to enter a legislative session. So Cindy Montoya, who's our head of the Art Institute, our president of the Art Institute, is our main fundraiser, and she is amazing. And so we'll be going to ask for more money. We have the funding. We got, I think it was $4-point-something million in last year's legislature, which allows us to build this building. And then we'll be needing money to run it. Because when you have 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 12 months a year. So the dormitory is actually just, so this is what we call Building C, and if you continue along Montezuma, there's the main building with the art gallery, and then you'll see a big chantier, a construction site, all fenced in, and we have broken ground. And so the building hasn't started yet, but we have broken ground. They've got a nice flat surface there. They've dug a pad for us and ready to start building. So yeah.
Well, we don't want to cheat your students.
I know, I gotta get them
Why
on
don't we save
stage.
any more questions for after we see it?
Yeah, and then we can take a quick walk around if you're interested in seeing. So I'm going to introduce this piece and our 2 students. Thank you, Esperanza and Merrick, for being so patient and listening to me babble. They're used to it, they hear me all the time. See tonight is from All in the Timing by David Ives. It's called Sure Thing. And so imagine, if you will, 2 people meeting for the first time at a coffee shop, and all of the things that could possibly go wrong, the things that you said that you shouldn't have said, or the things that you wish you had said, or the different permutations of that first meeting with that special someone. And so this is 2 people meeting for the first time, and what different variations of their first meeting might be. And so without further ado, Merrick Kohn, who is a senior in the theater department, and Esperanza Gonzales, a junior in the theater department, in Sure Thing by David Ives.
Excuse me, miss, is this seat taken?
Excuse me?
Is it taken?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thanks anyways.
Sure thing.
Hi. Excuse me, hi, sorry, hi. Is this seat taken?
Excuse me?
Is it taken?
No, but I'm expecting somebody in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so
Sure
sorry.
thing.
I just... Hola, I'm Juan. Is this seat taken?
No, but I'm expecting somebody shortly.
Well, would you mind if I sit here till he, she, or it comes?
They do seem to be taking their time.
You never know who you might be turning down.
Sorry. Nice try, though.
Sure thing. Is this seat taken?
No, it's not.
Ah. You mind if I sit here
Guess
then?
what?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Is this seat taken?
No, it's not.
Do you mind if I sit here?
No, go ahead.
Thanks. Every place else seems to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
Great place.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
I
book?
just want us reading quiet, if you don't mind.
No, sure thing. Every place else seems to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
Great place for reading.
Yep, I like it.
What's the book?
Sound and the Fury.
Oh, Hemingway. What's the book?
Sound and the Fury.
Oh, Faulkner.
Have you read it?
Not actually. I've sure read about it, though. It's supposed to be great.
It is great.
I hear it's great. Waiter! What's the book?
Sound and the Fury.
Oh, Faulkner.
Have you read it?
Well, you see, ma'am, I'm a Mets fan myself.
Have you read it?
Yeah, once in college.
Where was college?
I went to Oral Roberts University.
Where was college?
I was lying. I never went to college. I just like to party and,
Where was college?
Harvard.
So, do you like Faulkner?
I love Faulkner. I spent a whole winter reading him once.
Oh, I've just started.
I was so excited that after the first 10 pages, I went out and bought everything else he wrote. One of the, greatest reading experiences of my life. All that incredible psychological understanding, the pages and pages of gorgeous prose. The way he grasped the mystery of time and human existence, the smells of the earth. What'd you think?
I think it's pretty boring.
What's the book?
Sound and the Fury.
Oh, Faulkner.
Do you like Faulkner?
I love Faulkner.
He's incredible. I was so excited after the first 10 pages that I went out and bought everything else that he wrote.
All that incredible psychological understanding.
And the prose is so gorgeous.
And the way he grasped the mystery of time.
And human existence. I can't believe I've waited this long to read him.
Well, you know, you might not have been ready for him before.
That's true.
You just have to hit these things at just the right moment, or else it's no good.
That's happened to me.
It's just all in the timing. My name's Bill, by the way.
I'm Betty.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought reading Faulkner was a great experience.
Yup.
The sound and the fury.
Well, onwards and upwards.
Oh, waiter! You see, ma'am, you have to hit these things at just the right moment, or else it's no good.
That's happened to me.
That's just all in the timing. My name's Bill, by the way.
I'm Betty.
Hi.
Hi.
So, do you come here often?
I'm actually only in town for 2 days from Pakistan.
Ah, Pakistan. You come here often?
Every so often. Do you?
I don't come here as much as I used to. Not ever since my nervous breakdown. Do you come here often?
Why are you asking?
Just interested.
Are you actually interested, or are you just trying to pick me up?
No, I'm really interested.
Now, why would you be interested in whether I come here a lot?
I'm just getting acquainted.
You know, maybe you're only interested long enough to ask me back to your place to listen to some great new tape you've just rented, or because you have some fabulous tape for your VCR, or because you have some terrific unknown Django Reinhardt record. Although all you really want to do is meet, mate, make offspring, and then die, which you won't do very well. Afterwards, you go into the bathroom and you'll pee very loudly, and then you'll go into the kitchen and get yourself a beer without asking me if I want anything, and then you'll proceed to lean back down next to me and confess that you've got a girlfriend named Stephanie, who's away at medical school in Belgium for a year, and that you've been involved with her, off and on, in what you'll call a very intricate relationship for the past 7 years. None of which interests me, mister.
Okay.
Every other day, I think.
I come here quite a bit, and I don't remember seeing you.
We must go on different schedules.
Misconnections.
Different time zones.
Amazing how you can live right next door to somebody in this town and never even know it.
I know.
City life.
It's crazy.
You know, we probably pass each other in the street every day. You know, right in front of this place, probably.
Yup.
Well, the waiters here sure seem to be in some different time zone. Can't seem to locate one any... Oh, waiter! So what do
I
you...
beg pardon?
Nothing, sorry.
I guess we must be on different schedules.
Misconnections.
Different time zones.
Amazing how you can live right next door to somebody in this town and never even know it.
I know.
City life.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry, you weren't waiting here for someone when I came in, were you?
Actually, I was.
Oh, boyfriend?
Sort of.
Let's say sort of boyfriend.
My husband.
Oh, God. You weren't waiting here for someone when I came in, were you?
Actually, I was.
Boyfriend?
Sort of.
What's a sort of boyfriend?
We were meaning here to break up.
Oh! Let's say a sort of boyfriend.
My lover. Here she comes right now.
Yeah. You weren't waiting here for someone when I came in, were you?
No, just reading.
You know, sort of a sad occupation for a Friday night. Sitting here reading all by your lonesome.
You think?
Well, sure. I mean, what's a good-looking woman like you doing out alone on a Friday night?
Oh, trying to keep away from lines like that.
Oh, I know. I'm just... You weren't waiting here for someone when I came in, were you?
No, just reading.
Sort of a sad occupation for Friday night. Sitting here reading all by yourself?
I will have you know that this is my first Friday night out alone in a very long time.
Oh.
You see, I just ended a relationship
Oh.
of rather long-standing.
Well, I'm sorry, but, well, since sitting here reading by yourself is such a sad occupation for a Friday night, would you like to, I don't know, go elsewhere?
No.
Do something else?
No thanks.
You know, I was headed to the movies in a little while, and,
I'm good.
you know, big chance to let Faulkner catch his breath. All those long sentences get him pretty tired.
Thanks! Anyways!
Okay.
I appreciate the invitation.
Sure thing. You weren't sitting here waiting for someone when I came in, were you?
No, just reading.
Sort of a sad occupation for Friday night. Sitting here reading all by yourself.
I guess I was trying to think of it as existentially romantic. You know, a rainy night, cappuccino, great literature.
Well, you see, that only works in Paris. We'll hop the late plane to Paris, get on the Concorde, find a cafe.
A little short on plane fare tonight.
Darn, so am I.
To tell you the truth, I was actually thinking about catching a movie after I finished with this section. Maybe you'd like to tag along since you can't locate a waiter?
That's a very, very nice offer, but,
Uh-huh. Girlfriend.
two of them, actually. One of them's pregnant, and Stephanie just...
Girlfriend?
No, I don't have a girlfriend. Well, not if you mean the controlling...
Girlfriend?
Sort of.
What's a sort of girlfriend?
She's my mother. I just ended a relationship, actually,
Oh,
of a rather long standing.
I'm sorry to hear it.
And this is my first night out alone in a while, and I feel a little bit at sea, to tell you the truth.
So you didn't stop to talk because you're like a Mooney or because you have some weird political affiliation?
Nope, straight down the ticket Republican, straight down the ticket Democrat. Can I tell you something about politics? I like to think of myself as a citizen of the universe. I'm unaffiliated.
That's a relief. So am
I
I.
vote my beliefs.
Labels aren't important.
Labels are not important, exactly. Okay, take me, for example. So what if I had a 2-point act, 3-point act, 4-point at college? Or, so what if I come from Florida, Cleveland, Westchester County?
Sure.
I believe a man is what he is. I believe a person is what he is. I believe a person is whatever they are.
I agree.
Alright, so what if I admire Trotsky? So what if I once spent my money on a total body liposuction? So what if I don't have a wee-wee anymore? So what if I once spent a year in the Peace Corps? I was acting on my convictions.
Sure.
You just can't hang a sign on a person.
Absolutely. I'll bet you're a Scorpio.
And you're one of those.
To tell you the truth, I was actually thinking about heading to a movie after this. Maybe you'd like to come?
Sounds like fun. What's playing?
A couple of really early Billy Wilder movies.
Ooh.
You don't like Billy Wilder?
No, sure, I like Billy Wilder.
But you're not crazy about Billy Wilder.
The early ones kind of get on my nerves a bit.
Mhm.
I was thinking about... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that I was thinking about heading to a movie in a little while. And
So was I.
The Billy Wilder Festival?
Just up the street.
Do you like the early
I
ones?
think anybody who doesn't ought to be run off the planet.
How many times have you seen Some Like It Hot?
8.
12. Are you still interested?
Do you like Enten's crumb cake?
Last night I went out at 2 in the morning to get one. Do you have an Etch-a-Sketch as a child?
Yes, and do you like Brussels sprouts?
No, I think they're disgusting.
They are disgusting.
Do you still believe in marriage despite current sentiments against it?
Yes.
And children?
3 of them.
2 girls and a boy?
Harvard, Vassar, and Brown.
And will you love me?
Yes.
And cherish me forever?
Yes.
Do you still want to go to the movies?
Sure thing.
Waiter!
And just so that you know, Merrick is going to be playing Socrates in the clouds. And Esperanza is going to be our makeup guru, doing all the makeup and magic happen backstage, right?
Wow.
Any questions for these two?
Yeah, that is hard stuff. How did you memorize? I don't know. I didn't do it. How often have you been rehearsing this?
Yeah, I met your director on the way out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He said you guys have this, so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little complicated. We started the show at the beginning of the semester, and we rehearsed for how many weeks?
Like 8 or 9 weeks.
About 8 or 9
Yeah.
weeks, and then
An hour a day.
an hour a day, and then we performed it for however many nights.
Yeah.
In November?
In
Now we
November.
just do it occasionally and have pickup rehearsals
I
before.
think the last time we performed it was early December.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We did. And also at the theater walk in September, when it was in its very early stages and it was still very solid. That was the first time they ever performed it publicly, even before we opened the show. So after only about 3 weeks of rehearsal, they did this to 2 large crowds at Theater Walk, which was terrific. Yeah.
Because the timing is impeccable.
It is all in the timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Had to do
Where
it.
are you both from, and what are your dreams for the future?
Great.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. I'm originally from Socorro, and then we moved to Silver City, and then we actually moved to Santa Fe for NMSA. I have an older sister who was in the music department, but we moved to Santa Fe for this school. And I plan on either going to flight school if I can get enough scholarships, or the Air Force.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
I am from Laguna Pueblo Indian Reservation, and that is about an hour west of Albuquerque, so about a 2-hour drive here. And I definitely want to continue acting and music, and I also want to continue get into a career of mechanical engineering. I just recently got accepted to UNM.
Bravo.
So Merrick has been a dorm student since freshman year at NMSA because Pueblo is 2 hours away. So we have a limit of 75-mile radius. If you live 75 miles or farther, then you are eligible to be in the dorms. So Merrick has been in the dorms for 4 years. Woot!
Is
So
that
what are you
hard
gonna
to
do
be
with
away
your
from
acting?
family that long?
What are you going to do with your acting?
What am I going to do with my acting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's definitely a skill that I want to improve. So I think I'll continue it through college, through plays, and maybe try out film. But I really like the stage more.
Yeah.
It feels more energetic. And I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was going to say, is it hard being away from your family?
It definitely is. I came here to school when I was 13. I was pretty young for a high school student. I was already on my own. And it was really, really nerve-wracking, but I've learned to become very independent.
Yes. Yeah.
And going through the pandemic and being on Zoom for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
This was also really, really tough for all of our students to have been in that situation and for the entire world. Let's just put it out there. It's like for the whole world. But especially in the arts, very difficult. Yeah.
So how did you do Zoom acting
Yeah.
in the theater? That is so hard.
We did a lot of devised work, original work.
We also had our one-act plays that the sophomores had written, which was me at the time. So we would write plays and we'd perform it over Zoom. And it was definitely a challenge, but I think it was kind of, I didn't want it, but it was definitely needed, like a needed challenge.
There was no stopping. I mean, that's the main thing. So we were always finding innovative ways to continue the training, to continue them performing in some way. And being on Zoom was hard because, how do you pay royalties for a play and you don't know who's going to see it, where you're going to see it, and so forth. So we did a lot of original work. And it was really great work that came out of our students during that time because we all had to think way outside. So the box was here, and we were like way over there, thinking outside of that box, ways to keep them stimulated, to keep them engaged. It was hard. It was hard.
That's it. That's fascinating because it's so hard. How did you find when you graduated? You were interacting with somebody on television, essentially,
In different rooms.
in different rooms, and then you're here learning how to interact with each other in the flesh. Was it a hard transition?
I think definitely, yeah, because the first year that we were on Zoom, pretty much the entire year up until about April, we were on Zoom. And so my first year of high school was spent on the computer, so it was definitely a learning curve when we came back, because even when we did come back, it was only the freshman class. So it was pretty, and it wasn't even all of us, it was just it was 5 or 10 of us at a time or something crazy like that. So it was a learning curve, learning how to function in high school, for sure.
So do you feel totally confident going into Starbucks and picking up people?
As long as I'm not myself.
Well, I think the two of you are a great illustration of how acting training gives you confidence. You're just so comfortable fielding questions from all of us. You're a great example of the value of theater training, even if you don't ever end up in Hollywood.
Thank you.
Whether you're lawyers or pilots or doctors or teachers or whatever you're doing, your personalities just glow.
I see her in the cockpit.
I would fly on that plane. Total confidence flying on that plane.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
This was
Great. Esperanza and Merrick. Thank you. So it is 7 o'clock. Would you like to take a quick tour around at least this building, take a look around, see a dance studio, see some of the classrooms? I'm very happy to walk through the building with you. And if you want to, we can all walk over to Building A and see the art studio. It might be a little dark, but we're good still. You both can go get dinner.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Barbara, why don't we take a quick tour around these facilities,
Yep.
the theater facilities?
Yep.
And that way you can get some dinner. So we really appreciate
My
this.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. So this is the room we call the Bludio. It's a small black box theater, and it's Bludio because the walls are blue. Blue studio, isn't that clever? And in this room, so this was actually built when we first moved in. The walls were white. There was no seating. It was just a big empty room. No lights, no nothing. And so we have been pushing to get this set up so that we could actually perform in here. Last year, the fall of 21, we did our entire season outdoors because of COVID. We didn't want to put anybody's lives or health at risk. And being in a small enclosed space, and now we're in the same, sort of in a weird same place, but things haven't really changed, but we feel a little bit more comfortable, I think. But we did our entire season outdoors, which was fabulous in New Mexico because in October, it can get very cold and very windy, so we were dealing with the elements and the sound of the train out there and the airplanes going over. So we finally got a lighting grid in here, a full lighting system. We had some funds that were specifically set aside for this room. We have a little dressing area back there with some costumes. We have a library behind those doors. So if you'd like to come with me, I'll take you for a little walk around the building.